Stephanie with Board Game Geek. Joining me is Diane Sauer with Shooting in Games, and we are going to talk about the ultimate battle.
Yes.
Bigfoot versus Yeti.
Of course.
Okay. What would happen in a cage match between the two?
In Bigfoot and Yeti, all the players are cryptozoologists. We're trying to prove the various creatures, including Bigfoot and Yeti, obviously, but things like the Jersey Devil, or the Mothman.
Giant squid.
Which turns out was real.
Yeah.
A Hool,
We did it.
Chupacabra, except Loch Ness Monster. Of course, you could not have the Loch Ness Monster.
Right, yeah. Sewer alligators, I
Yes,
like it. Yeah.
alligators in the sewers. Those are definitely real. So it is a rummy style game.
Okay.
Okay. And what happens is at the end of the game, you deal 10 cards to each player. Okay. You set. By the way, I should mention before. This is a sequel to Conspiracy, so anybody that's played Conspiracy, this is like a sequel. Conspiracy was about conspiracy theories. Right. This is about cryptozoology, so kind of the same kind of oddball kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
And we've just kind of set these out so that you can see the art.
This isn't how it actually set out. It's set out. You just simply deal out 10 cards to each player. You set the deck out into the center of the table, okay? That deck is called the unknown. So on cards, if you read something like take a card from the unknown, that's what that means.
Yep.
And you flip over the top card and you put it into the discard pile.
Okay.
And the discard pile is called the tabloids, like the old Weekly World News or any of those kind of crazy tabloids, you know, that they'd have, right? So, what happens is, on your turn, players have two things that they must do.
Okay.
And they have optional other things that they can do. The two things that they must do is they must draw a card. You can always draw from the top of the unknown or from the top of the tabloids.
Yep.
Okay, so they draw a card. They can then do the optional things, which I'll glaze over for a second. The other thing that they must do is they must, at the end of their turn, they must discard a card to the tabloid. So anything they would do or try to do that would leave them with no cards to discard, they can't do it. You always have to have a card to discard.
To discard, okay.
Okay. So it would go around and until the game, till somebody got to their last thing. They did whatever they did and threw their last card away. That marks the end of the round.
Okay.
Each person gets to throw one card in, and then we'll score around to the back of the room. I'm glazing over them now. Okay.
Yeah.
And if somebody crossed 100 points, that whoever had the most points would win. Otherwise, whoever has the most points steals, and you do it with their hand.
Yep.
Now, going deeper. Okay. I've already talked about drawing, so that's that. Now, mounting an expedition is one of the things you can do. And to mount an expedition, you need 3 or more of the same card. Am I doing it upside down?
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. So we've got three Loch Ness monsters.
3 S monsters, 3 or more, and that's how you mount an expedition. Additionally, all the creatures, there's 5 of each creature and 1 proof card that goes with it. Now, for the Loch Ness monster, the proof card is the flipper photo. So if you have the flipper photo, you can use that as part of your initial expedition. However, you might notice, besides the flipper photo being worth more, it also has a lightning bolt, an action. You can only do 1 action a turn, so if you did this, it would count as your 1 action per turn.
Yep.
Okay, now, another thing you could do is if you had a blurry photo. There are blurry photos in the deck. There's never clear photos of the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot or Yeti. They're always blurry, so it's blurry. You notice it's only 3 points, but it's a wild and it can be used, so that would be legitimate.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It also has a little camera on it.
Yes. They're all designed so when they're in the discard pile, you can see what they are, and that's important.
Okay, yeah.
Which I'll get to. So it's 3 or more, so that would be legitimate. This would not be legitimate because you can only play 1 action card a turn.
Yep.
Okay, so that's mounting an expedition. Joining an expedition, let's say you previously already had mounted an expedition for the Loch Ness Monster. On my turn, I can mount an expedition, I can join an expedition, or I can join 2 expeditions and not mount one. So I have my choice. So if I wanted to, I could join your expedition by playing once 3 are out. I can just play 1 or more to join your expedition.
Okay, and
I'm
you're like, I want to come too. Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. So yes, of course, Loch Ness Monster's real. She's completely right. I agree. Okay, so that's
completely right.
So that's joining an expedition.
Yep.
The other thing you could do is you can play an action card. Now I've already told you about the proof cards.
Yep.
And so those are those action cards. But there's also there's also a couple of other different ones. that you could possibly play. They're all 0-pointers. You play them, they go immediately into the tablets.
Okay.
Fish Falls allows you to draw 1, 2, or 3, discard 1, 2, or 3, and then draw an equal number. So it's a way to go. You have Crop Circles, which lets you draw 2 off the top, or you could take any card out of the tabloids back into your hand.
Any one card?
Any one card.
Yep.
So that's an or. And last, you have the Ancient Prophecy, because we need prophecies of some sort in here. And when you play that, you name a creature, and you draw, and you flip over 3 cards.
If you've got one in there.
If you got one in there, you get to keep it. If you get more 2 in there, you get to keep it. If you got none in there, you have to keep all of it.
Let's try. So there's.
Okay. So name a creature.
Let's do
Yeti.
the Yeti.
Okay, so Yeti. Oh, look at that! Bam. Bigfoot is not Yeti, but still. So since one of these has Yeti in it, you would get that, and you'd put these other 2 back in the order. If
I had said Bigfoot, would I have gotten
you would
this one and that one?
You would have gotten both of those.
Oh man, okay.
And
this is like a double-sided, or not double-sided, but.
So if you had said, let's say, if you said Loch Ness Monster, you would have to take all 3 of these because your prophecy was incorrect.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's kind of the risk with that one.
Yeah.
So and then I've talked about the discarding. By the way, you might notice text on all these cards, and the reason is that all the creatures have some kind of ability that when you play them, they do something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so, for example, the Loch Ness Monster. What that does for you is when you play it, you can get an expedition card. Basically, swims down, gets you an expedition card out of there.
Yeah. That's
okay. The sewer alligators eat things, so when you play those, they can come along and say, you know what, that flipper footer looks delicious. I'm going to eat that.
And you'll discard someone else's points.
Right. And why this is important is at the end of the round, we're going to go through the tablets. But let me just talk real quick about the Bigfoot Yeti battle.
There's some Bigfoots and Yetis.
And then there we go. Okay, so all the other suits have 5 and then 1 proof that goes with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bigfoot, though, and Yeti are different. They're kind of the same family, and Yeti's kind of like annoyed that he's always getting playing second
fiddle. It's like a snow Bigfoot.
Yeah, and that's kind of, that kind of stinks. So he's not cool with that, so he's coming to say, no, I'm the king of the cryptids, not Bigfoot. So they have an individual card for each of them. There's 2 of these in the deck. They also have their own proof cards that go with them. But there are these cards that are Bigfoot or Yeti. Mm-hmm. And why that's important is, now I've already went over mounting an expedition, right?
Yep.
So if I mount an expedition like that, there you go, right? But now, once a Bigfoot or a Yeti, the expedition is out there, since they're part of the same family, anyone could be played singly at that point. So now you could say, play a single Yeti.
Because there's a Yeti out there.
Okay,
yeah.
And as a result, the power that Bigfoot and Yeti both have is they can take one of these flipper cards and flip it to their side, and take it and flip it to their side. And so there's a back and forth battle. At the end of the round, whichever one has the most points, whichever creature, doesn't matter who has them.
King of the Crypt.
They're the king. They score their points normally. The other one is the loser. He gets vanquished, and all those cards go away.
So if I had, or if you had this,
right
at the end,
of the round,
these would go away, and you get.
And I would get to score these normally.
Yeah.
So the last thing to talk about, that's kind of the Bigfoot Yeti battle.
Yep.
Is the tabloids, which I mentioned what they are. But let me show you how they work. So it's the end of the round, and let's say this is part of the thing that's out here.
Yeah, I had this.
Like that, okay?
Say I had that.
So here we are. You have that. I had helped you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the cool thing. If at the end of the round, any creature has 10 or more points, it's basically become so popular that people start to believe it's real.
Yeah.
And as a result, these cards will double for us.
Okay.
So at this point, you would be getting 16, and I'd be getting 4.
Yeah.
However, before that happens, you do what we call reading the tabloids.
Okay.
And as you read the tabloids, you look for stories that match things that are trying to be proven.
Okay.
And oh no, Loch Ness Monster's in there. There's some hokey story about Loch Ness Monster in there that discredits it. As such, whoever has the most, in this case you, would lose one of their cards for everyone that was in there.
Okay.
So now, Now we don't double anymore. Now you've got 6 points and I've got...
Still not bad for me.
Okay. But probably another player would throw that in there.
But 16 would have been better.
Right.
Yeah.
Would throw that in there to kind of, skunk us at the end.
Yeah, if they were like, I'm not going to be able to play any Loch Ness
monsters, let me
so
throw them away. Or like, okay, she's in the lead, let me throw them. So there's, unlike other games, the discard pile is extremely important because you're trying to make sure your stuff doesn't end up in there.
Yeah.
Right, and
because you can take stuff from here.
Right, there's different there's different ones that have different powers, like the crop circles I pointed out, and this one, and the squids let you get lightning bolts back. So all the different powers can affect this, and it affects the different things that you can do. Like I was saying, for example, that you can only play one action a turn. But if you play into Hulu on a turn, it lets you play 2 actions then.
Okay, cool.
So there's all different kinds of like combos and stuff like that. And that is in a nutshell. That's
Bigfoot versus Yeti.
That's Bigfoot versus Yeti. It will be on Kickstarter in October.
Okay. Is this final or is this kind of prototype?
This is not obviously a final printing of it, but yes, the artwork here artwork here is all final, and the graphic design is final. The box is not final. That may or may not be the front of the box. I'm not 100% on that yet, but something like this probably.
And you said on Kickstarter when?
It's going to be on Kickstarter in October, and if you go to bigfootversyeti.com, it takes you to Free Fundia where you just type in your email address, and then when it launches, it sends you an email saying, "Hey, Bigfoot vs Yeti launched." So
Awesome,
you know.
awesome, cool. So that is Bigfoot versus Yeti from Shooting Games.